all the different things that there are to do with selling on Amazon. So there's two particular areas to this. One of them is how to set up on Amazon, and one of them is, once you're on there, how do you make things better? So the first thing to look at is, if you're a new company, should you be selling on Amazon? How can you adapt your sales process and offer to sell on Amazon? And how do you communicate your message? And part of communicating your message is, how do you make your marketing on Amazon better? So with the webinar, there will be a Zoom webinar, and afterwards you can opt into having a one-to-one strategy session with me via Zoom, and sign up for further free webinars if you wish to attend them. So that's a choice option you can make at the end of the webinar. So the first thing I want to look at here is, how can you adapt your current sales process for Amazon? If you're not on Amazon at the moment, how do you get on Amazon, and what do people need to know to get on Amazon? The first part of this is, what do people need right now? Are you offering something that people need? Always important when you're doing e-commerce. What's profitable for you to sell on Amazon? What's your Amazon USP? And who are your competitors? So the reason why this is a really, really key point is that if you're selling on your own e-commerce, or if you're selling wholesale or anything like that, there will be things that you sell that have a very tight profit margin, for example, and then if you try and start selling them on Amazon, you're going to come into the difficulty of Amazon fees. So that means that when you start selling something on Amazon, of the retail price that you sell it, 15 to 20% will go on Amazon fees. That means the fee that they charge you to sell it through Amazon. It could be the fee that you have for signing up to be a seller, and that's a monthly fee. If you're shipping through Amazon, there will be a warehousing fee as well. And that's really important to consider when you start selling things on Amazon, is what's your profit margin and what's sustainable, and what price did you sell your profits at if the fees are going to Amazon. Many times companies will then make their price higher for Amazon to take into account those particular fees. The second thing to look at is, what's your Amazon USP and who are your competitors on Amazon? And this is a really key thing to note. If you're in e-commerce, if you're selling wholesale, you may think you know your competitors, but there's a whole lot of people selling online on Amazon you may have never heard of, that are actually de facto competitors that you didn't know. And I think what the easiest way to do this is to do a search now. I was having a conversation with a company in the premium food gift space, if we want to call it that. They sell great food things, and we were looking at whether they should launch on Amazon. Let's have a look. Oh, wrong sharing screen. So we were looking at whether they should sell on Amazon, and we looked at gin making kits. They're in gin making kit for adults. I hope it should be for adults. And what we found out were, when you're selling on some of these brands only exist on Amazon, but you might not know it, because if you went to look for gift shops or that type of thing, some of them might be in the stores. However, you won't know until you run a search on Amazon for who is selling this. And then there are various tools you can use, such as Jungle Scout, which is a Chrome extension. It's a subscription product. It costs a couple of $100, but it will tell you how much for any category people are making on Amazon. So if we do this search for gin, we look at gin making kits, we look at find the different brands. Some of them may or may not be ones you're aware of if you're in the gin making space. And we can see here on the monthly revenue how much money per month some of these brands are making. So that gives us an idea about the revenue, gives us an idea about the volume, the daily sales and the monthly sales. We can click on the monthly sales. We can find out the sales volume. Looks like Christmas is a big spike for gin making kits, and it looks like lockdown is also, they've sold almost as much as Christmas. What else do we all do in lockdown except consume food and alcohol? So if you're interested in starting to sell on Amazon, the key piece of information is who is also selling in your category on Amazon. How much are they selling? What price are they selling at? And is there an opportunity? Because it may be that there are people selling on Amazon that you don't know about because they don't really exist outside of Amazon. And that can be something that can catch companies out if you just launch on Amazon without actually having a look at the space and seeing who else is on there. That is part of the adapting your sales process on Amazon. And the second one is the USP. What have you got on Amazon that is different to what exists already? So that's key pieces of research to start before we even think about how to set up on Amazon. We need to go scrolling around on Amazon, looking at our specific product category. What are people selling? How much they're selling at? What's the price? Are people reviewing it? What are people liking it? And do the research. Now, there are many, many experts who will be able to tell you how to launch a product on Amazon, give you specific advice. There are online courses you can get. You can Google it. It's not something that I will claim to tell you everything about now, because having the right product is, of course, half of the battle. However, this webinar is also for companies that have a product, just may not be selling a lot online. Therefore, the idea of how to get it on Amazon, half of that's already done, because you know you have a product, you just need to figure out how to sell it on Amazon. So the nuts and bolts of getting something set up on Amazon is this particular process. After you've done the profitability calculation, you need to, so that means if you're selling something, 15 to 20% of the retail price is going to Amazon, is it a good fit for your company? Which one's going to make the most difference in terms of your stock, your volumes, how much you can sell it at? Then look at the shipping options. Are you going to send Jiffy bags out to the customer? Are you going to use a warehouse to do that? Do you have an existing warehouse that can figure it out for you? Are you going to send it to Amazon for them to do the shipping? And that has a cost point. Those are things which really require separate looking at, depending on what you're shipping, where it's going, how heavy it is, what the dimensions are, etc. The nuts and bolts are, you create a seller account by signing up to Seller Central. You make sure you've got GS1 barcodes for your product, and these may need to be purchased if you don't have them already, and you may need to purchase them every year, because these barcodes must be linked to the products you set up on Amazon. Then apply for Amazon brand registry. If you're selling products that you own, that you've either had manufactured or you're importing and rebranding, you need to apply for Amazon brand registry so that you can own them and be the authorized seller on Amazon. So that means that no one else can sell it apart from you, because you own the trademark. So once you're setting up on Seller Central, you need to apply for Amazon brand registry. And to do that, you need to have applied for trademark registration. Now, the cost of trademark registration in the UK can really vary. A lawyer might charge you 800 quid to £1,000. If you go through the government website, your basic cost is 170 quid. So I would recommend definitely going through with that. If you apply for a trademark in the UK, you can then apply for Amazon brand registry, which will allow you to sell across Europe on your UK trademark. That doesn't mean you have European trademark protection from Amazon, but the one trademark registration in the UK will, for the purposes of Amazon, allow you to sell across Europe. And that's a really, really big deal in terms of what your product page will look like afterwards, how much you can protect your stuff you're selling on Amazon. So it's really, really important, unless you're selling Cocoa Pops or Nike shoes and you have a wholesale deal and that's your business. If you have your own brand, you need to get set up on Amazon and have Amazon brand registry. Once you've done that, you can then create inventory. create your product pages, and launch product. And all of those things are possible to do fairly quickly. I've just been speaking with a company that's applied for Amazon brand registry. They already had trademark registration and it took them maybe a week. It could take longer if you have to apply for trademark registration as well. So the basics for Amazon is it's really quick to get to market. Anyone can set up a seller account. Back in the day, I set up a seller account to sell secondhand academic books. Very quick, very simple, very easy to get on Amazon once you've got your barcodes and you've put your inventory in and you're creating the product pages. However, to actually stand out from the crowd is the thing that's quite difficult, because there are lots of other people on Amazon. Fundamentally, everybody's on there. For you to create product pages that sell and launch a product, that's where the black magic is. So to understand how to create product pages, and I know Montserrat and Frauke, you'll be familiar with this, is that we have to start by figuring out what do people search for. What are people looking for in Amazon in the language that we're searching for, which is probably in English in this case, and Amazon will start to tell us the keywords. So for example, face toner, if you put it into Amazon search bar, they will come up with a lot of different products, and that will start to give us a starter for 10 about what people are looking for in Amazon, and that helps us to write a better product page. For example, if we put face cleanser into Amazon search bar, we can see that all the top searches are for products that probably have cleansing in the page. They will have lots of reviews in the product. They'll have lots of reviews. That means they rank higher, and this starts us on the process of writing a really good product page. Now, I have done a bunch of webinars already about how to do a really good product page, so I'm not going to go over that anyway at this point, because you can catch the webinar I did last week. But the key point to remember is that the inventory can be done very quickly. The product page setting up, you can do it really quickly, but actually to do a really good job takes a lot more time. And I think the key example that I would like to share with you in terms of what's on an Amazon product page is, if we look at an example I gave on my webinar last week is, oops, that's not what I wanted. If we look at bird food, for example, we can see that a really great product that comes up first when we are looking at bird food comes up in the first page, which is this particular brand. We can see that the content and the number of words that we've got in the listing, the logo, the ingredients, all of the great product photos, and then as we scroll down, this A+ content. And this is content that you can only get if you've registered your trademark and registered yourself with Amazon brand registry. It looks pretty nice. It's pretty rich. You get the whole range of the products. You get the ingredients. You get the pictures. You get the logos, all the great things this company does. That's the example of a really good product page, but to do it well takes time. However, you can very easily get to market on Amazon with something pretty shonky, something that really didn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes to put up. And if we go to, let's say, page 3 or page 6 of bird food on Amazon, we can see that some of the product pages are not so strong. And that's why they're on page 4 as opposed to, say, page 1. So if we look at the millet spray, for example, how does this go? It's all in capitals. It doesn't really tell you what it is. It doesn't make me love the product. There's only one picture. It's shouting at me. And I would be surprised if they had any A+ content on here, any of those lovely pictures. And no, they're not making me love their brand. They've got 6 ratings, so that's not very many reviews, and they're not on the first page. So it's very quick to get to market on Amazon if you want, but to compete, stand out from the crowd, you need to spend time selling your product just like you would if you were talking to someone. Okay, it's Amazon, okay, it's a digital platform, but you need to be doing the best you can to tell people about the products, otherwise you're not going to rank highly. And this is when we switch from Amazon as starting out, where you can plonk anything online in capitals, just get it on there. At some point, you're going to want to make it better. And to make it better, it needs the same type of care and attention for marketing that you would have if you were selling face-to-face or you were selling on your website. You need to think, what does the customer need to know? And am I shouting about what's great about my product rather than giving people the technical features? And that's what takes time. That's why it's always good to have someone else to talk to make sure that what you think is important about your product is really important for your customer. So moving on from the issue of the words on the product, the thing that I wanted to give people an idea in terms of data that you can get from Amazon to help you improve. Now, this is if you already have an Amazon seller account, you can get a lot of data about the things people look for on Amazon. And the particular example I wanted to use was the dog bathrobe. So a dog bathrobe is a product I had never heard about, but I was intrigued to find out about it when I was looking last week for human bathrobes. So I did in Amazon brand registry, brand analytics, excuse me, in the business report area of Seller Central, we can do a search for different search terms. So here you can see I've done a bathrobe search for the month of February, and I've searched bathrobe for the month of April. It's a bit like Google Analytics. We can catch what people are searching for and at what frequency over a period of time. So we've got people searching for bathrobes on Amazon. How many people do it in February? How many people do it in March? And the big insight that I had when I was doing this last week is that in February, quite a lot of people were searching for dog bathrobes. In the scheme of things, it was 64,000th most important search term. Not so many people were searching for men's bathrobe. It was 167,000. So not so many people. However, during lockdown, men's bathrobes have become much more important as a search term. Oh, excuse me. Whereas dog bathrobes have gone down. So as lockdown has continued, the frequency of people searching for human bathrobes has gone up, and the frequency of people searching for dog bathrobes has gone down. So there is a fundamental anthropological insight into the state of mind of the nation in lockdown. Either dogs are becoming less important, or women at home are seeing the shoddy state of the bathrobes in their house as people spend more and more time in their pajamas for longer because they can't go outside, and are looking to do something about it and to order some new bathrobes on Amazon. I have not got any more data insight than that, but it does tell you if you're looking for something to sell on Amazon and you already have access to brand analytics, you can actually find out a lot about what's in people's heads. And you can do this for the UK, any marketplaces that you're registered for. If you sell in the UK and you sell in Europe, you'll be able to see Spain, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands. What are people searching for at the moment? So last weekend, number one search was for things like face masks, hand sanitizer, games for kids, outdoor barbecues, that type of thing. Much lower down the list with the dog bathrobes. So in the optic of switching over to where to improve, if you've got products on Amazon already, how can we make them better? Here's some short things to think about. Which ones are your hero products that really are most worth your time concentrating on? What is the key areas of products that it's worth your time looking at? And then what do you want? Do you want more people to see it? Do you want more people to convert it? Or do you want people to buy more of it or a more expensive version? So this often is a conversation I'll have with companies when they have a lot of products and they don't know where to start. And they feel a bit of overwhelm as to how to then make the best use of my time and theirs to see what to improve. So let's go with the 80-20 rule. 20% of your products will sell will make 80% of your revenue. So concentrate on what makes the most difference. Don't try and attack everything. Attack the top 5 listings, top 10 listings, top 20 listings. Don't worry about the others. Before you try and improve anything, double check, do you have enough stock? There's no point throwing money at marketing or even advertising. If you don't actually have enough stock, you won't be able to sell it through because you'll go out of stock. There's nothing Amazon hates less than if you're out of stock. If you're out of stock, it brings your rankings down like crazy. So if you want to improve things, make sure you do have enough stock for the next 2 or 3 months so we can start measuring the difference that things make. If you want to improve things, optimize before advertising. Never start throwing money at advertising until you know you've got a really good product page that sells your product, tells us about your brand, gives you a great user experience, and then start looking at advertising. And then how to improve with advertising? Set a budget already. And that is the most simple and effective advice I can give you. If you are doing advertising and you're thinking you're spending too much money, number 1, turn off the ads. Number 2, put all of your bids down to 40p or even 20p. And number 3, put exact keywords. So those are 3 things you can do to make sure that your advertising is in control. How to improve other things, which is sessions, how many people hit the page, how many people view the page, and how many people convert. That will be, again, a lot to do with images. Have you got the right pictures? You've got a nice video. You've got great product copy. Your price is right. You've got good branding. You've got nice A+ content. Looking at all of those will, no doubt, improve your conversion rate. And finally, a key statistic that we look at a lot at Sell Beyond is once we have an understanding of all the products you've got. So here is a list on the back end of Amazon. These are all the products. I've anonymized them so you can't see what they are. Every product will give you data in a month. How many people landed on your product page? How many people? So here we have a product. Somebody searched for a keyword. This number tells us how many people landed on the product page. This number tells us how many people came back to view it. So that could be, they might have seen it once, they might have seen it more than once. Typically, people do look at things more than once. How many units were ordered, always very important for the business, but what's more important from a marketing perspective of what percentage of people bought. Because if you have, for example, 1,600 people looking at this, but only 20% buying, you might want to say, well, how can we get it to 30%? If you only have 421 people looking at it in a month, that's not very much. So your 30% conversion rate is 30% of not very much. So there's probably work you can do here to get it in front of more people. So at this end of the funnel, if we're thinking of a funnel where the sessions are up here right at the top, lots of people are going to look, not so many people are going to buy. At this end, a lot of people are looking. If they're not even looking at your product, there's probably the key image should change, and the price may need to be changed, and the keywords and the reviews. Those are the 4 things that make people click. If we're getting here to conversions, why didn't people end up buying? That's often a lot to do with the stuff that's on your page doesn't make sense to people. They hesitate, they move off the page, go find something else that solves their problems. So down here, it's a lot to do with the message, the branding, the reviews, what people are saying in detail. Here, it's a lot to do with the image, the title, the price, and the number of reviews. There's always something you can do, and if you're not checking these metrics, you could be missing a trick in terms of getting more with what you've already got on Amazon. And finally, making a clear difference. Organic content, that is improving the product page, is important. Gives you brand information, builds trust, helps you rank on Amazon. The paid is also important as well. Once you've got the organic good, you can then start looking at paid. You're driving traffic to your page that isn't necessarily your core audience. And here will be a key thing to look at if we're looking at a product page is, let's go back to the example of bird food. If I'm going to look for, let's say, Budgie toys. We're looking at bird toys to go in the budgie cage. And I don't know what I'm looking for. Now, this is a really good example. So I'm in the market for something to go in my cage full of budgies. So we are thinking funny bird toys. We're looking at little squiggly things and parrot toys and little nesty things. However, this company is advertising human toys. My first piano book, I am almost certain that is not for budgies, that is for humans. Some kind of smart, fun, educational tablet toy, I'm almost certain that's not for budgies as well. This is where whoever has set up this company's ads has probably put a lot of money on the word toys, not really looked at what may or may be appropriate in that, and is therefore spending money advertising preschool toys to consumers that are really looking at bird toys. And this is just a mad example that came to my head just now, but it tells us that if you're advertising on the wrong keywords, you're shouting to an audience that doesn't care what you do. If I'm in the market for animal toys for my cage, I'm probably not in the market for preschool piano toys. And that's the fundamental problem with marketing, with advertising budget. If you don't have a really good idea of what people are searching for, you're ending up advertising on something that has absolutely no relevance to me, the consumer, that was really looking all along for a parrot skateboard. So that example there, just to hammer home the importance of understanding that you're targeting people that aren't necessarily your core audience onto a product page. Make sure you have a really good idea about what those people are searching for, otherwise it could go really wrong. So the final point in this is, if you are interested in having a chat with me about Amazon strategy, please sign up. Please contact me on social or through email. Very happy to talk to anyone about Amazon, what you can do with what you're at. It's always going to be really specific about what you're selling, who you're selling it to, who your competitors are. But I'll always have a chat with anyone about Amazon. And if you're doing anything after this webinar, don't angst about getting on Amazon. Take action, look at your profit margins, look at your competitors. If you're thinking about going on Amazon, if you're wanting to improve what you've got on Amazon, start by getting someone to look at your product pages. If you can't see the wood for your trees, get a friend, get someone that doesn't love your products as much as you do. Look at your product pages. What could you do being better? What are people buying when they view your product? So do a search term for your product, see what else people are looking at, and analyze your reporting metrics and seeing, are people clicking on your products but not buying, or are they not even seeing your products? And that can give you a path to go for making some improvements in your product pages. So from all of us at Sell Beyond, we all want to make Amazon work for your business. So please do reach out to us. If any of the people on the webinar have a question, you can plonk it in the Q&A, or otherwise, please do have a lovely afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Great seeing you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.